Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a new 6x6 on the market from QiYi called the WuHua. This was sent to me from the Cubicle.us and it is a stickerless puzzle, but you can also get this in black and white if you prefer that. I know a lot of people are using the stickerless bigger cubes because it's now legal in competition and there's no chance of chipping. There's just a lot of benefits to it. Wow, that actually turns really nice. I watched Kevin Hayes' video on this puzzle, and he said the outer layers are the smoothest that he has ever tried, and so far I have to agree with that. Out of all the 6x6s I've ever tried, these outer layers are definitely phenomenal. Now, Kevin Hayes obviously can turn the puzzle very well. When he does his 3x3 stage, it's basically like doing it on a 3x3. He's so good at it, but I can't do that because I don't practice like that. But anyways, corner cutting on this puzzle is amazing. Any reverse corner cutting? Nah, not really. Tiny bit. So the stickerless does come in the bright scheme, so you can see the blue and green. We've sort of got a fluorescent green here on the white and yellow. Pretty standard. And on the orange, we see a little bit of a lighter red, I see, and the orange is a standard orange. So it's pretty close to what I would use if it was stickered. I just like a regular yellow though. And I'd like my red a little bit darker, but I think most people like the brights and the half brights these days, which is why stickerless puzzles are all coming out with that color scheme, because most people prefer that. Really nice outer layers, super smooth. The second layers are also very smooth, not quite as smooth, but there's no catching going on whatsoever. So far, it's the smoothest 6x6 I've ever tried, but the middle layers is where the real test is, and they are also smooth with zero catching at all. A little bit more friction on these layers, but you are turning through a lot of mechanism when you do that, so that makes sense. So when you turn the middle slice, all two slices above it also turn with it, which is a great thing. And when you do the second one, the top one turns with it, which is also a great thing as well. So you're never gonna, if you're doing edges, you're never gonna get this going on, so you can't, make your next turn or anything like that. So that's also a very good thing when it comes to speed solving 6x6. So as a size comparison, this one is a tiny bit smaller than other 6x6s. This is the MoFangGe GTS, which I will be doing a review on shortly as well. It is just a tiny bit smaller. The QiYi comes in at 67 millimeters across. It's a little bit smaller than the rest of them. It's also got like a different anti-pop design, and also it's got something called an anti-stick design on both the internals and external pieces. So we'll take a look at that when we actually open up the puzzle and check it out. It weighs 185.4 grams, and if you were to get a black or white one and you don't like the stickers, you can just go to the Cubicle sticker section on their website and you can look for the 6x6 67 millimeter WuHua stickers. But yeah, that's a really nice looking puzzle. So I'm gonna go and play with it. I think I might put some lubrical silk in there because that's what Kevin Hayes did, and he said that it worked really well for him. So I'm going to try that, and I'll do a solve and check out some of these pieces, and then I'll be back. So the stock on the corner piece is white, and because I use a white background, it's very hard to see. So filming white pieces on a white background is very difficult. Also, I think my exposure may have been a little bit high, but when you look at the colored pieces, like these two edges, it actually looks pretty good. So I don't think that the exposure is too high. I think it's just white on white doesn't work. But yeah, these are the edge pieces, and there's a lot of little cuts in these type of pieces. These are the center pieces, but there's a lot of cuts on these pieces and little angles that aren't on some other 6x6s, mostly on the part that is closest to the center of the core. Like as you can see here, the right side of the green, and as it spins around the right side of the red. It's got this like little foot, but it's also got like this little notch on the back side. It's kind of a weird design, but it works really well because everything fits together really well. And these two are obviously other part of centerpieces. And here you can see the core exposed, and it is a primary colored core. Some might call it white, and then of course we have the actual puzzle itself. Now the QiYi 6x6 is awesome. In my opinion, it's got the best outer layers of any 6x6, and I agree with Kevin Hayes on that, absolutely. The only thing I've done to this is I backed off the tensions about a half a turn on each side, and that took away some of the sluggy type of feeling that it had a little bit. I don't know, when I played with this puzzle too, it was really good out of the box, and then I let it sit for about a day before I started actually solving on it and going on with my review, and it got sluggish on me. I don't know why that happened, but I backed off the tensions and I put some lubrical silk in there, and it worked perfectly. So now it's a really good turning cube. And I'm not like the fastest 6x6 solver out there, obviously. I am a speed solver when it comes to it, I guess, when I do solve it for camera, because I am timing myself and I'm trying to do as fast as possible. But I don't put like, you know, a lot of serious energy into getting faster at it. Most of the time when I solve 6x6, I don't time myself and I just kind of solve it like a regular puzzle. I try to like figure out, you know, better ways to do things. I'm not really timing myself or going as fast as I can. It's more of just for like an enjoyment type of solve for me. And that's why I'm, you know, speeding this up by double, because it takes me a while to solve a 6x6 and I don't want this video to be super long. But you kind of get the idea. Obviously here I'm doing edge pairing. But you know what? I've seen Kevin Hayes solve 6x6 many times in person. I've seen him break 2 world records with, I think one was with a V cube and then another one I think was the Sheng Shao. And I find it fascinating to watch people who are really good at solving big cubes solve them, because they turn them so well. And speaking of Kevin Hayes, another person, obviously Felix Zemdegs, who's also a master at 6x6 and pretty much every other puzzle out there. But they have, I've found personally, what do you guys think? But leave it in the comment section. But I find that Kevin Hayes and Felix Zemdegs have different turning styles. So Felix Zemdegs turns a little bit slower on the 6x6, whereas Kevin Hayes is like as fast as possible. Nobody turns it as fast as he does. For instance, when he's doing edge pairing, he's looking for his next edge and he's like searching the top layer. Instead of like rotating the cube to look, he just flicks the upper layer. And like I can't understand how he can see those pieces so quick. But man, what do you guys think on that? Anyways, leave it down below. Let's finish up this video. Alright everybody, so the new 6x6 by QiYi, in my opinion, is the best 6x6 ever made. I really like that it's stickerless and it moves so well. Like I said in the commentary, I did lube it up and I did take the tensions, I backed off the tensions a little bit and it really opened it up. I would personally like to, if I ever met Kevin Hayes again, try his and see the difference, because he moves it so well and I just can't move it like that. But I think that really has to do with my turning style. One thing I did notice about this too is that you can pop a piece, and if you corner cut too much, this is what happens. It's either in the back or it's right here. It's in one of these 4 corners that happens. Another piece that can come out, let's see if I can get it to happen. No, sometimes it's this piece right here, and sometimes it's that piece. So it's a corner piece, but in this case it didn't do it, but it really does, you know, kind of bind the cube up a little bit. Anyway, still a really good puzzle. There's no reason you should have to cut this much during a solve. So if you're turning properly and appropriately to your turning style, you shouldn't have that problem at all. I never personally had one in a timed solve, but I had one just practicing, and that's how I found out about it. And I've tried it on some other 6x6s that I have, and they pretty much all have that issue. So it's not a design flaw at all. This thing is amazing. Anyways, guys, if you'd like to pick this up, the link is at the top of the description. Thanks for watching, and thanks to the Cubicle for sponsoring this video. I'll see you guys on my next video.